So I became a funded trader within the first 3 months of my trading. And the whole reason why I'm making this video is for a few reasons. One of them is I want to talk about what I went through, the lessons I learned, and how I actually achieved being able to become a funded trader in such a short amount of time. Because when I say 3 months, I mean 3 months ago, a little bit over, I was a complete beginner to online trading at all. I barely even knew what a candlestick was. Okay. And to be able to do this, there's a few things that have gone into play, and I think it's just going to be really helpful for me to make this video for you uh, because you can learn through my own experiences. The second reason is because I want to start this journey of documenting my experiences and really my journey into becoming a completely full-time trader. Okay, I want to talk a little bit about my story as well because it'll give you some insight. But this is the first video of me on this channel, and I think it's a great introduction to really my starting point to all this because for me, I'm still very, very new to this. So that's the second reason. Third reason is because for me, trading is a huge passion. I only really founded it like 3 to 4 months ago, and it is something that I absolutely love, and I'm going to get into that as well. Okay, so first off, for me becoming a funnel trader, I will show either some screenshots or some footage of, some proof that I've actually done this as a really complete beginner. Because coming into this, I had gone into it with the expectation that it would take quite a long time to even get funded. I was told by a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of people saying that you were going to fail for like 2 years, 3 years before you ever become funded, before you ever see any form of consistency or profitability. And that wasn't the case at all. Okay. And I think everyone's different. It's good to come into it with that mindset of, look, it's not an overnight success thing. And I hear the quote quite a lot in the trading, I guess, space that trading is like the hardest, easy money that you can ever make. And it's so true because really you're just clicking buttons and it's like you're clicking buy or sell, right? And you make money, you lose money, right? But I want to talk about really the battle that's in here in your mind and why, a few things that have come into factor as to me as to why I'd say I've had success, I guess, quite early compared to quite a few other people. And really, I think this is something that you shouldn't compare yourself to other people with. You shouldn't compare yourself to other people's journeys at all. But I want to talk about a few things. Now, first off, becoming funded. I want to talk about what that means. So I actually first became funded within my first month. It was like in my first 30 days, I did it with FundedX, and I was trading currency pairs. I was also trading AUD, USD, I think one other one, and then I was also trading gold because at that time the price action or the PA on gold was really in an upwards trend. And even though I became funded with FundedX, I got a 50K account. Again, I'll show the certificate somewhere here. But the reason I don't mention that because I was doing everything wrong. I was over risking. I didn't really know what I was doing. It was really just a mix of me kind of risking too much and good price action on gold. And yes, I became funded, but I basically blew that funded account after within 24 hours of me receiving the funded. So I passed it. It was like a two-phase account. I think it was a premier account, whatever the top one is there. I passed it. I was like, sweet, I'm a 50K funded trader. Let's start making some money. And within the first 24 hours, I blew that account. So I'm not counting that. But then a month or two after that, I became funded again with Top Step, right? Another 50K account. And I've kept that account now for over a month, right? And I'm very close to my first payout. Okay, I actually went into quite a bit of drawdown on that. But as I learned, began to risk less, I began to actually have a trading plan. I'm not going to so much talk about strategy in this, so this isn't a video for that because in my opinion, so many strategies out there work. You just need to find the one for you, okay? But again, still funded with that account, and I'm on my way to having a second funded account, so pretty soon I should have two 50K accounts, and I'm just working my way slowly with that, right? I want to make a video when I eventually do get the payout. I've got the 5 profitable days there, which is part of Top Step's agreement there. You have 5 profitable days over $150 or something like that, and you can get your first payout. Okay, so I'm very, very close to that. I got myself out of drawdown with that, which is awesome. I'll do another video on that, but that's where I'm at right now. So I haven't got my first payout yet, but that's what I'm working towards. And again, another reason why I want to do this video. But more importantly, what I want to talk about here is the journey I went through just in these in these few short months, and a couple of the factors that have played into, I'd say, what would have played into my, I guess, quick success with this, and relatively quick success compared to a lot of other traders out there, and how it's important. So a lot of traders in this space, I would say I'm quite different to in terms of age bracket. So I'm 30 years old, and a lot of the traders out there, they're starting at like 17, 18, 19, maybe anywhere from 20 to 23 years old. They're quite young, and a lot of the time they are trading in a space of they're either working a job or they're living at home, or maybe they've got a part-time job, either part-time, full-time job, or maybe no job at all, right? And they're trading with really little to no experience around making a decent amount of money. Okay, maybe they might have a good paying job, but they're trading to, I guess, get out of that job. Right now, I made my first bit of online money years and years and years ago. So I am not new to the online space at all. The very first amount of online money I made was back in 2017, around there. I've tried many, many different business models, and the first one that stuck for me back then was Amazon FBA. So I was just selling products on Amazon. So I was actually able to leave my 9 to 5 job. It's about 8 years ago now, almost 9 years ago now. So I'm not new to the online money space. And what that does for your mentality is it's already expanded my mentality. A lot of these new traders that are new to making money online, they're new to having some form of, or wanting some form of freedom from a job. They are, again, so heavily reliant on that they put so much extra pressure on themselves to perform, and that's what makes them over risk. That's what makes these traders really self-sabotage, and that's what makes them blow these funded accounts. That's what makes them lose a lot of money, because they are trying so hard to escape their situation. Okay, and that's where I've come into this, I think, with a bit of an advantage, because I first left my 9 to 5. I used to work a retail job 8 years ago. I made my first bit of online money with Amazon FBA, and that's where I started my online journey. Now, since then, I've made money in a multitude of different ways. I've made money from affiliate marketing. I've made money from drop shipping. I've made money really predominantly from my business as well, which I have an online coaching business. And that plays into it, because I have been able to make a decent living for myself already without needing a job. And that, again, has expanded my mind. So I'm not new to making a decent amount of money. I'm not new to having this freedom, where a lot of new traders, not only are they younger, but they also lack the experience of handling that kind of money. So when they see these traders online, whether it's Instagram or YouTube, wherever, and they're making like 10 grand a day, they're making like 50 grand a month or 100 grand a month plus, it's like they know that it's possible, but they can't conceive that amount of money because they haven't experienced it yet. And when they've come face to face with, hey, I can trade with a funded account, hey, I'm 100K funded, 50K funded, whatever, 25K funded trader, they haven't seen that money before. So it's a big shock to their system, and that's what makes them over risk. That's what makes them blow funded accounts and things like that. So I came into this with a bit of an advantage, because I am not a stranger to making money online. I have my own business with team members. I have made online money in multitudes of different ways. I haven't had to work a job. Very fortunate that I haven't had to work a normal job in the past 8 years. And that plays into it with the mentality. That, and I'm a little bit older compared relative to a lot of these traders. Being 30 years old, I've had some life experience. You know, where I'm sitting right now, it's basically an apartment that I would have dreamt about back when I was 22, 23 years old. I'm able to afford the rent in this place. I'm able to, live a life that makes me happy, right? And I want to talk about how that's led into trading. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, if you've done this yourself, why trading? Why trading for me in particular? And this is what's really important to me, and this is the foundation of why I've made this channel, not only just to help you, but really to be a journal for me. Now, I love running my business, okay? And my online coaching business, I've been running for quite some time now, for quite a few years. I want to say like 6 to 7 years now. And to me, I would say at this point in my life and what I want to do, this to me is essentially my job. That business is my job, okay? This is what brings in the money. This is what keeps me being able to live my life, right? Now, at some point, I started to really delve into different business models. I was getting right into coaching, and I was going to get to the point where I was going to become a coach to help other business owners, like a business coach for essentially other coaches, other business owners, other mentors, and things like that. Now, I started that about a year or two ago, and I really tested the waters. I worked with a few clients there, and I realized that I really wasn't passionate about it. When I started to dive more into that community, I found that, or that space, I found that, hey, look, I don't get along with these people at all. Like the way that they live their lives, their ideas behind their mindsets and everything like that, and the way that they live, the way that they do business, I don't like that. It doesn't fit who I am. And while I still, again, love running my business, there's a part of me that had this passion that was not being fulfilled in something. I wanted to have a skill there that was different to what I'd done before, because while Amazon and selling products online is what got me out of a 9 to 5, essentially I became, I outgrown that, and it wasn't really my true passion. And really, out of all this, I'd stumbled upon a couple of different accounts online, and in particular, I'll give him his name because this is how I've started learning from as well. Salty. He is a trader that I started learning from, and he's a trader that I really admire. He's an Aussie guy. You probably have seen him in the space. I'll put some screenshots up around here somewhere. But I started learning about what trading is, and I started looking more in particular, not just the money he's making, not just the life he's living, but how he lives his life. He is disciplined. He sticks to his morals. He's a very giving person. He's very humble. Now, I saw myself a lot in Salty, right? And even though I think he's only around 22, 23 years old, me being a little bit older than him, I saw a lot of myself within him. And the way he lived his life and the morals he stuck by really resonated with me a lot more than anyone in the coaching space. And when I started diving more into the trading community, more into the trading space, I realized that all of these good traders, all of these traders that are legitimate, and usually you can tell if they're legitimate or not just trying to sell you a course or something like that. All of these legitimate traders, to become a good trader, you need to be very disciplined. You need to stick to your guns. You need to stick to your morals. You need to stick to your plan. And this is something that I'd live my life by, right? For me, having any success in my life, whether it is in my health and fitness, my mental health, you need to stick to a plan. And that, to me, when I started getting into the world of trading, not only just seeing what's possible with trading and wanting to learn that skill, but also the kind of person it creates, right? The kind of person that trading helps you create of yourself, that really resonated with me. And I thought, this is perfect, right? So I started learning from Salty. I joined Trading Pool, which is his community. I might leave a link somewhere down below here. Like I'm not here to sell you on anything. This is just me documenting my journey here. And I started learning from Salty and got involved with his community. And I'm fortunate enough that he's Aussie, I'm Australian, and I started getting involved with all the other Aussie traders. And all of these traders that were really, really good, that are really, really good in that community, that are making a full-time income from this and more, right? There's people making really good money out of this, right? They are very disciplined people. And I thought, these are my people. Like this, I finally found a community of people that I agree with, right? And I hadn't found that. I hadn't found that in e-commerce. I hadn't found that in coaching. And I'd finally found that in trading. It just, I understood how they think. They think like I think very similar to them, and it made sense. So that was one part of why I started this whole trading journey. The second part is, again, it's my passion, and I want to become a full-time trader out of this. Now, when I say full-time, I'm in a bit of a different situation. I'm not trying to just make a full-time work income. I'm trying to make a lot more than that, and I want it to become really my main sources of income, okay? Alongside my business, of course, because that's the thing that keeps me afloat, keeps the bills paid and everything like that. And again, I still enjoy running that business. But for me, I want this to become something huge. And I want to take you along the journey with me because I think it's going to be really exciting. And I think it'll be cool to see from the perspective of me as someone who's a little bit older in this space, or I guess at least starting a little bit later than a lot of other people. And I want to take you through the journey because this is a skill that I have really, truly loved. And even in these past few months, right, I'm still very new to this, but in the past maybe 3.5 months now that I've been doing this, going from complete zero, I didn't know anything. When I tell you I didn't know anything about trading, I didn't know anything. I didn't know what the platforms were. I didn't know how to work the platforms. I didn't know what currency pairs were. I didn't know what futures were. Like I had to Google what these were when I first started. I didn't know what pips were. I didn't know what a pip meant. I didn't know really like what a trailing stop loss was. I didn't know anything. Like the most basic terms, if you're sitting there and you've been in the space for a while, these are very simple for you, but I was brand new to this. And to me, if I'm able to go from not really knowing what a candlestick is, barely even understanding the concepts of like order flow and bullish and bearish, like I was very new. The only thing I'd really done that had anything to do with candlesticks in a graph was I'd invested in some crypto, but this was just me investing and holding, hoping that it'll go up. It completely different, right? It's like had no idea. So for me to be able to go from that to then having being funded twice, now in the second funded account I've kept for over a month, and now I'm profitable, right? And consistently profitable, like my equity curve is going up like that. That's crazy to me, and it comes from a lot of discipline. It comes from learning a few mistakes, and also one other thing I'll mention is you need to track what you're doing, right? Whether it's data, whether it's tracking your trades, and stay on top of it. It really is like a business, and that's another thing that I'd say is a big advantage of mine. Is I've run a business before. I currently still run a business. I know how they work. I know that it takes a lot of dedication and discipline, right? So I just want to take you along the journey with me, and really, I won't talk too much about what my goals are, but again, one of them is getting a real solid full-time income out of this. And I'm not just talking about like 3K, 4K a month, okay? Not just like a normal job income. I'm talking about a lot more than that, okay? Because I've experienced more than that. And I want that to be my goal. But I want to take you along the journey of what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, the failures, the wins. Hopefully soon when I get my first payout, I am eligible for a payout, just so you know. It's not much, but I want to increase the balance a little bit so I get, at least a little bit for my first payout. So I'll document that as well. And I'm going to do it on Instagram as well. So one last thing I just want to leave you with here is that if you're someone who is in trading, maybe you've been trading a lot longer than me, maybe you have just started trading and you're struggling, right? You're struggling in understanding things, you're struggling in making wrong trades, maybe you're going on losing losses, maybe you tilt, right? That's what I did essentially when I blew my first funded. I went from like win, 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 getting funded with Funded X, and then trying to just make all this money in one day, and I blew it, right? In literally like the first 24 hours. You learn from that, right? And that feeling I had after I had blown my first funded account, it was like a pit in your stomach. But that's what you got to go through sometimes, and especially if you are learning this relatively quickly, you got to learn from that. And I learned a lot from that experience, and now to be able to be more level-headed in the space and just in the game of trading, I love it. I love trading. I love how you treat it as a business. I love how you have to be disciplined. I love that you can trade in your own way. That is the one thing that I love about trading. There is no swapping of goods and services. You're not selling a service. You're not buying products and selling them. It's you. The thing that I really love about trading is it's just you, the charts, and your own mentality, your own fears. One other thing I want to mention that I really love about trading is that it brings everything to the surface. It brings all of your negative emotions, all of your negative relationships about money to the surface, and it makes you face them, okay? I'd say I'm quite good compared to a lot of people when it comes to that, but it brings everything to the surface. Like everything that you fear, everything that you want, it brings it to the surface. You've got to face it. And if you can face it, and if you can get through that, you'll come on the other side as a profitable trader. And that's what it's all about. That's what I love about it. Okay, that's what I love about trading. So all I want to just leave you with here is that you can do it, right? If you are committed to this, if you have started trading, you think, hey, like I've found this is my passion. If you genuinely like looking at charts like I do, I love looking at the charts. I love looking at price action. I love looking at the different ways that people approach things. You create it out of your own personality. Like you've got your own strategy built from your own personality. You build a base and you can just build it the way that you want. I love that. I love that so much. So I'm just here to say that you can do it in any way that you want. It's not like one strategy is going to work. I use a strategy that's based off of Salty's strategy. Again, I'll link that down below. I'm not affiliated with Salty in any way. I just want to show my appreciation for him because he's a great guy and very, very genuine and humble. So I'll leave the link somewhere below if you want to learn the strategy that I've been learning to do this. And really, you got to go out there and get it, and it's going to take time. So I'm going to leave this video here. I know that there wasn't too much to show here, but I think it's a good intro video just to say, hey, get this journey started. I'm really excited to make a lot of content for this channel, and I'm going to be doing it on Instagram as well. So follow me on Instagram. I'm going to start making some reels there, and I'm excited for what's to come. I'll keep you guys updated. Go out and get it, and look, make of this journey what you want, your own journey. Set your goals and expectations as high as you possibly can, and just go out and get it, because if you stick to the plan, then you'll make it happen. So hope you're having a wonderful day or night wherever you're watching. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next one.